You know, 1993 was a good year.
Yeah?
It was, yeah. That particular year. I mean, can you remember anything that happened in that year?
Well, I think Bill Clinton was inaugurated president in 93. I remember that.
Today we celebrate the mystery of American renewal.
You know, what I remember is that FSU beat Florida, I think, 33-21. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was 33-21 that year.
Uh-huh.
Not the only time.
You remember
we beat
that,
them.
huh?
Well, you know, we do it a lot, but I do remember that.
Okay. Well, I remember the movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray came out that year. That was filmed in my hometown.
That's the one where it goes over and over again?
Where you can't get out of there. Yep.
You know, that kind of takes me back to football again with FSU playing Florida. But what I'd also remember that year is I think Bobby Bowden took his Seminoles on to win the national championship in 1993. In fact, I'm pretty sure he did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that was a big year for email, too. And the White House got its first email address.
Really? I didn't know they had email in those days. How old were you in 1993?
I was 25 years younger.
Well, how about that?
I was in graduate school.
You know, I do remember one other thing that year. Late that year, we had this lobbyist guy who worked with the county come around and suggest that we needed a stormwater utility association. And I think around October that year, we formed a group up. I think they called it the Florida Stormwater Utility Association. That'd be FSU Association. No, they didn't do that. That's what my idea was. I think it was the Florida Association of Stormwater Utilities. FASU.
Those are some good letters. It was a good year.
Sometimes it's said that good judgment comes from bad experiences. Well, I would say in this case, a good association came from a bad experience. That was really this. The EPA in the early 90s was trying to organize to do MPDS permitting, and they had a structure that would allow group permits where cities and counties could group together and do one permit that would cover them all. After we'd spent many months on that, as well as over $1 million, they changed their mind and decided they weren't going to do that anymore. And it was really from that episode that it brought us together to talk about forming an association. I was primarily concerned about regulatory influence, that we needed somebody lobbying the legislature when they were considering bills that were unfavorable to cities and counties, as well as outreach and education. And it certainly has accomplished that and then some.
You know, when I try to think back about, personally what my motivations were in trying to formulate such a group, it really was just a political action group as far as I was concerned. But I do remember meeting down in Orlando, so I'm sure Bill Chamberlain was one of them. And I remember Emory Swearingen from Gainesville was there, and Dorian Valdez from down in Miami, Christian from Orange County.
Those of us that did have utilities were getting inundated with phone calls and letters requesting information, copies of ordinances, etc. And I, for one, was interested in starting an organization that could begin to be an information clearinghouse so that I would have time to do my normal job.
Santa, I'd love to have a new drainage system.
Really, Eric was the impetus to start this organization. Even before we organized the association, we got a grant.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's one of the worst decisions I've ever made in terms of giving out money.
Things progressed rapidly after formation. FASU hired Kurt Spitzer as its executive director. FASU held its first statewide conference, published the results of its first survey of stormwater utilities, and published its first newsletter. In 1996, our membership passed 100 organizations for the first time.
It's all about membership.
Things continued to grow and services expand. We amended the law to let stormwater projects into the state revolving fund. We first published the manual on establishing stormwater utility in Florida. In 1999, we helped pass the TMDL listing law, Perhaps the first big milestone in the association's history was changing its name to the Florida Stormwater Association, or FSA, in 2001.
I was the president at the time, and the name change was pretty controversial and took quite a bit of discussing and at times arm twisting. I can't remember how the players actually all lined up, but it took about a year's worth of debate, and it was finally decided in our early 2001 long-range planning sessions. And the first conclusive decision was made part of that report, the strategic planning report.
Actually, there was a lot of debate. The name change went from Florida Association of Stormwater Utilities to the Florida Stormwater Association. There was a large group that actually advocated for the Florida Stormwater Utilities, or FSU. Another group, rather feisty group, wanted to go for Utilities of Florida, U of F. And that there was another group, actually a really only small group of one, the executive director himself, wanted the Association of Stormwater Services. Well, saner minds prevailed.
I do think the name change was a good strategic move. I think it broadened our reach and appeal, and there were folks interested from outside Florida. They wanted to come see what we were doing and how we were addressing the various acronyms, NPDS, TMDLs, and other fun national initiatives.
Continuing with other important milestones, Danielle Hopkins was hired in 2002. The validity of stormwater utility fees was upheld in the Florida Supreme Court. FSA membership passed 200 organizations for the first time.
Membership, membership, membership.
The FSA Educational Foundation was formed.
The primary mission for the foundation is education, as it says, Education Foundation. So we've done that through a variety of avenues. There is the research that we have funded through different universities, and also the annual scholarships. So those are all, I think, the primary purpose or focus of the foundation, and yes, I think we've done well. It gives all of us dead presidents something to do and feel like we're really still contributing to the association.
Association services continued to improve and expand. We helped pass the TMDL implementation bill in 2005. The Fogarty Training Center was formed in 2007.
To provide a path for field operators to get a statewide consistent training program.
The first MS4 assessment project was completed in 2008.
A smashing success. It's been used by the MS4s. It's been used actually by other states. As a matter of fact, I get calls regularly from Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, folks wanting to use the tool.
Moving into 2009, FSA was the first association of local governments to challenge the numeric nutrient criteria rules. Also in 2009, we challenged Florida's archaic system of classifying waters.
That ditch during normal flow was intermittent flow. Sometimes you have, 3, maybe 4 inches of flow at the most during normal flow conditions. So absolutely it wasn't swimmable, and it wasn't fishable, of course. But that wasn't really the reason why we undertook the project. The reason is that was a ditch that got flooded during heavy rainfall events.
Is it true that you and John Buss covered it over one weekend, mostly working at night?
Well, I'm a Americanized U.S. citizen. I'm very well aware of my rights, and I know my constitutional rights, so I'm going to take the Fifth Amendment on this one.
And membership exceeded 300 organizations in 2009.
Membership.
We helped pass the numeric nutrient criteria implementation legislation in 2013. We led the challenges of the WOTUS rules on behalf of local governments in 2015. Since 1993, well over 10,000 people have attended one of FSA's conferences. We've awarded over $26,000 in scholarships, and FSA has led the defense of your right to implement control ordinances to protect water quality. More than 6,500 field staff have been trained through the Fogarty Training Center. Hundreds of millions of dollars have been credited to local governments through the FSA assessment tool. In fact, FSA's many accomplishments were recognized by the Florida Cabinet earlier this year. And to ensure continuity and further expansion of FSA services and membership, the Board of Directors has named Danielle Hopkins Executive Director effective July 1st.
Well, as you can see, we've accomplished a lot in the last 25 years, and I'm looking forward to the next 25 as well. I'm excited about that because I think we have lots of opportunities to grow and to be better, even though we've done so much in the last 25. I'd love to see conferences where we have 600 people in attendance. I'd love to see membership where we have 500 plus members. Those are some really big numbers when we have great numbers today. But it's not really all about the numbers as well. You know, I really want to make sure, I hope that I see we have a seat at the table at those important agency and legislative tables when policies are being decided or permit changes are being considered, that we're part of that conversation. We've worked hard to get there, and I think that needs to continue and grow. I also hope that our members feel trained and informed through our conferences, through our training program, through our seminars, that everybody, no matter what their role, has a place where they can do their job better and know about what's happening in their professional community. I also really hope that we're supporting scholarship and research that benefits our members and helps us do our job better. But mostly to me, the Stormwater Association is about that last word, association, and the sense of community that I feel when we're at the conferences or just when I pick up the phone and call somebody to ask for advice or information. I hope that continues to grow and flourish in the next 25 years. We have more people involved, and I can't wait to see the next 25-year celebration and see where we are and all the new faces that I know are going to be there. So I'm looking forward to it.